what if you can predict them precisely? I mean, not you can't predict them with 100% accuracy anyway, but maybe 60%, maybe 70% accuracy. But even with that level of accuracy, can it be translated into a trade? That is an open question, because it may be that you can predict non-farm payroll quite accurately, but the reaction of other traders to that non-farm payroll numbers is much more unpredictable. And also, just because you can predict it with 70% accuracy, maybe a lot of economists can also predict it with 70% accuracy. And so maybe you can predict it with maybe 5% more accuracy than the consensus. So what? Is that 5% accuracy increase enough to generate arbitrage profit? Not necessarily. So that's the dilemma in applied machine learning, is that the quantities that you can predict with high accuracy does not necessarily translate to good returns.
Wow, Ernest, this has really got me thinking. What for a new researcher that wants to approach machine learning for trading in the methodology you're using, where we're selecting our strategies and instead of trying to predict price, what are some good models that a new researcher should look at? LSTMs, neural networks, or what models should we be looking at?
I generally speaking, again, my use of machine learning typically is more indirect. So I'm not going to suggest a particular network architecture. Oh, you should use a transformer-based neural network, or oh no, you should use gradient boosted decision tree. I have some opinion, but those opinions are with regard to what machine learning model, what machine learning algorithm should be used for certain data, not for the objective of predicting prices. What I feel that one should learn from predicting prices is actually much more classical. From all the profitable strategies that I've seen myself, they typically, again, have a causal component, or it derives from some fundamental observation of a market. So, for example, the fact that there is a lot of whether you are an option market maker or whether you are a market maker for volatility futures or variance swap and so forth, you need to balance book by the end of the day. You want to remain delta neutral, or you want to remain neutral with respect to all these other Greeks, and that induces sort of certain trades. So if the market has a strong positive delta, you might find that there's a positive momentum in the market towards the end of the day. So these are the sort of observation based on a understanding of market microstructure and what different players, particularly what different institutional players are doing. Now, it may be less easy to predict what retail traders are doing. Maybe they are because retail traders may be affected by Feds or Reddits or whatever latest fashion that there is. So it's maybe less predictable, but certainly institutional players their behavior can be more predictable. So based on that kind of analysis, we build a quantitative trading strategy to capture that. So the basic idea is actually usually quite explainable, quite understandable. And it is oftentimes, the fundamental phenomenon oftentimes is documented in books on options, books on futures, books on Forex market, books on, the agricultural market or whatnot. This is what one would call people who have fundamental knowledge or discretionary knowledge would do, except that we as quantitative traders would take those knowledge and quantify them, abstract them, simplify them, and quantify them. That is very different from saying that I should use a LSTM to make prediction on prices, or I should use instead some CNN to predict prices and whatnot. So I find it much more fruitful to understand the market from a fundamental point of view than from